The Tomorrow Wars, directed by Chris McKay and stars Chris Pratt, Yvonne Stahovsky, J.K. Simmons, Edwin Hodge, and Sam Richardson. And it tells the story of a family man who is drafted to fight in a future war where the fate of humanity will rely on his ability to confront the past. You know, I usually pull my synopsis, my plot from IMDb, like word for word, directly. But that plot, that's a little too, that makes it sound like a drama, which this movie is not. This movie is the kind of blockbuster energy that I've been sorely lacking because I am very envious as cinemas begin to open elsewhere in the world. We're here in Trinidad, we're still very much, we're not on like lockdown. We don't like have to stay home, that kind of thing. But at the same time, we kind of on. All the good stuff is closed. The cinemas are closed. IMAX is closed. We've been forced to watch what we can, streaming, that kind of thing. So if this wasn't streaming, I was going to be screwed. I was going to be stuck not being able to see it for a very good while. So thank goodness for streaming services, and thank goodness for movies like this one, The Tomorrow War, which, like I said before, it just brought home those blockbuster vibes. And the plot here basically is that Chris Pratt is a school teacher, but he has a background in science, he has degrees in science, and of course he's ex-military because he has to be ex-military. Come on, you know how these movies work. Every hero is ex-military. So yeah, he's a teacher, he's a scientist, but he wants to do more with his life. He wants to be recognized, he wants to be remembered, he wants his life to mean something. While he's dealing with all of that, he's also happily married, and he also has a little girl who adores him and wants to be just like him. Fast forward, and you don't have to fast forward that far because one of the best things about this movie is how fast it moves, right? Everything starts happening in the first 10 minutes of the movie, which I could appreciate. So some soldiers appear on a football field and they announce that the future is screwed, aliens are everywhere, they're being decimated, and they need people to come back to the future with them and to help them fight and win this war. So this movie, here's the thing. Like I said, guys, I am jonesing so much for the movie experience, for the theater experience. I am one of those people that I enjoy going to the movies a lot. I used to go almost every week, once there's something worth seeing, and I miss that a lot. And in watching this movie, I got a little bit of that back. I got that feeling back because I've seen a lot of films this year. To me, things started off very rocky this year. And as the year has been going along and things have been getting back to a sense of normalcy, we've been getting really good things. I felt like my mediocre movie streak was broken with A Quiet Place 2, and it's only been getting better as we go along. So here comes The Tomorrow War. And for me, this movie, it's this year's Independence Day. You know what I mean? I think we always have these kind of big movies. They either work or they don't. And for me, this movie worked. Yes, it's definitely inspired by films like Independence Day. It's written all over this film. But that doesn't take away from this film for me. So first of all, let's talk about the visuals. And the thing with this movie is the story doesn't really take place that far into the future. It's not a Star Trek type thing. So I felt like visually, the uniforms, the military stuff, everything looked like I think it would have looked, if we jump that far. I think it's 20 years into the future. It's not too crazy. The special effects, I felt like they worked really well, but they definitely nailed the design of these creatures for me, right? So they call them the white spikes, and just the overall look. I was even wondering if these things are aliens or if it's something that was maybe dormant in the earth, that sort of thing. But yes, they are aliens. Wouldn't get into much more of what they were designed for, but think what David did in Prometheus. That kind of thing is going on here. And yeah, these things, they look demonic, they were vicious. They didn't need guns because they basically have these spike things they shoot out at you. And they were, I love the design, and I love the speed and the brutality and everything of them. You could, as I say, you could definitely tell that this film is drawing from a lot of other sci-fi, horror, action films, like even A Quiet Place. You know, the speed and the brutality of those creatures are definitely mimicked here, you know. So all of that stuff work. I like the time travel thing. I like how it looked, you know, it, almost like getting an inside view of what it's like to be teleported, you know, on Star Trek, that kind of thing. That stuff worked for me. The action sequences, I also felt like director Chris McKay, I felt he really did a good job with it, because for me, no two sequences felt the same or looked quite the same. And yes, you know, some stood out better than others. I love the fight against the, I don't want to say queen, but the female. You know, that was really good. They also had the attack of the oil rig kind of thing. That looked really amazing. It brought World War Z vibes to mind, and it looked amazing. And then of course we had the final scene, the final battle, which turned out to be a lot more mano a mano than I expected. That was the one that I really wish they had made a bit bigger. It should have lasted a bit longer. It should have been more high stakes. You know, instead what we get, I feel like they felt like they were wrapping things up a little too quickly there, because these creatures were built up as being so vicious and so unstoppable, and then, you know, big explosion, problem solved kind of thing. That doesn't work for me here, because of the fact that you've built it up that these things are world enders. You know, an explosion, no matter how massive, shouldn't really, you know, knock them off their feet like that. But I know, teach his own, you know, which leads into the issues a film like this would have. And of course, those issues those issues, when you have time travel, you tend to get a lot of those kind of issues in your movies. There's always going to be something you can pick apart. They do try to answer those questions here, but they don't answer all of them. For instance, they do address, well, why not go back to before the war, to stop this from ever happening? There's a reason. They do give a reason that, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, I don't know much about that stuff, but they give a reason that sounds logical, you know. Still, there are plot holes here, and let's face it, these type of movies will always have these types of plot holes. So I could forgive that, because I'm not going into this film looking for logic and looking for stuff to fit into the factual world, you know. Will Smith punched an alien who was wearing space armor, you know. Jeff Goldblum hacked a alien spacecraft with what amounts to be a Windows 98 virus, you know. I can't remember what year it was, but the point being that we forgive that ridiculous stuff if the action is bombastic enough, energetic enough, if the acting is good enough to bring these characters to life and to make them likable and to make you want to root for them, you know, and if it's visually stunning enough. And I felt like The Tomorrow War had everything I needed from a movie like this. So because of that, I'm giving The Tomorrow War a 7 out of 10. I absolutely enjoyed this movie. I really did. You know, I did not care that I could be like, oh, that's so Edge of Tomorrow, that's so Independence Day. You know, I didn't care. I honestly didn't care. I could forgive all of that because these characters were likable. The movie had a great pace to it. I was never bored, and it was just the kind of entertainment that you want this time of year. So to all of you who get to see it at the movies, I am super jealous, and hopefully we will get back to some sense of normalcy soon, so I could possibly see Fast and Furious 9 and Black Widow now and not months from now. Oh God, I really miss going to the movies, guys. And if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button. It's always appreciated. If you're new here and you'd like to subscribe to my channel, first of all, thank you. And second of all, you can click on my face when it pops up right about there. And you can check out past reviews if you've got the time. So until the next one, guys. Bye-bye.